today we are trying to do an automatic lighting mode, like the headlamps, automatic headlamps on a 2015 Ford Mondeo Ambient model. So usually this base model doesn't come with an automatic headlight system. So basically you have to turn on and off the switch as per your requirements. But I believe the trend and the titanium comes with an LED self-leveling LED headlight, but the trend comes with a halogen light, but it's got an automatic headlight turn off and turn on system. What we found is there's one of the other guys who's a Ford Mondeo owner. He is from, I think, New Zealand. He actually found that the Ambient actually comes with this facility. The lighting sensors are there, the wiring is there, everything is there. What Ford have actually done is they've just put a hard stop inside the selector switch. When I mean hard stop, is like a physical stop, so you can't turn the lighting selector switch past the turn on position. So usually on trend and titanium, you got after the headlight on position, there is another position called automatic, which is the position that that's the position it controls the automatic lighting. So that got me really interested in this mode because it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple. If you got a basic idea of what you're doing, it's pretty easy. So one thing I was pretty curious about this is I've observed the illumination, like the IPC illumination and all that stuff, actually dims like when I drive at night times, and when it's daylight it automatically brights up. So I wasn't really sure what's actually doing it, but as soon as Rob put this post on Facebook group, I was pretty sure, yes, that's why the lighting sensors are doing it. I never thought that they will put a lighting sensor on this car and they never wire it up. Of course, it's, if you want it, you can ask for an optional pack, and it's probably going to cost you $1,000 or $2,000. But it's, everything is there. All you need to do is slight modification. There's two ways to do it. One is you actually change the headlight switch assembly, or you open it up and break the physical stop, and it'll do the same thing. Like you will have one more position in the headlight selector switch, and just you select it, but there won't be any marks on the switch to say that it's an automatic position. And I believe you can buy this switch from eBay for about, say, $80, or if you go to any wrecker who actually wrecks Ford Mondeo or Kuga or something like that. I think these switches are very common between Ford Mondeo, Kuga, EcoSport, and all that sort of stuff. So you can try to source one from wrecker, but make sure you're asking for the right one, that are switch with the right marking. All the switches will have the position in there, but these switches will have a physical stop in it, preventing it from actually turning. But the other switch from the trend and see much more upward models doesn't have that physical stop, so, and it's got a mark on it saying that where is the automatic position. So let's give it a try. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll show you how the lighting sensors actually work, the light sensor, the ambient light sensor, and then you'll understand what I was trying to say. So I'm just turning on the headlights at the moment, and if you look at it, I don't have an automatic position. It's only the off and parker, and then I believe that's the headlight on position, I mean low beam on. So there is no other position in this headlight switch, so that's it, it stops there. But if you try to really push it hard, it's not going to move anywhere, it's just stuck there. But what Rob is saying, that there is a physical stop inside the switch, and once you break it, you can actually turn it further. That's the cheapest way to do it. Or if you're happy to spend $100, of course you can go and buy a light with that position and the marking here saying that it's automatic, and put that on, and you'll be fine. So if you look at the headlight, the way the headlight lamps or the lighting sensor works, I'm just going to shine my torch on the lighting system, and what you're going to see is, if you look at my head unit at the moment, it's a bit dark, and keep watching. See, it has changed, and if I take it off, it's gone back to night mode. Okay, so putting the light on again. It's gone to day mode. Okay. I'm taking the light off from the ambient sensor. The light sensor. It goes back to night mode. So that tells me that there is light sensor in there. It controls the IPC illumination and the head unit illumination and all that sort of stuff. So it's time to pull apart the switch and see what's in there. So that's the light switch we are talking about, the headlight selector switch. And to take that off, you have to take this trim panel off. That's pretty straightforward. You just if you need to have a trim tool to do it properly. So if you got a trim tool, it's pretty straightforward. Take that panel off, then I believe there will be 2 screws underneath here. I'm not going to show all that sort of stuff because there is that many videos on internet saying how to take this off, how to remove this switch. The part I'm more interested in is actually pulling apart this switch to see that physical stop and see how we can actually break that physical stop. So I'm going to stop here, and once I am about to take off the switch, I'll show you how to do it. Alright, there you go. What we need to do is just put the trim tool in there and pry it out. Be careful when you actually do it, don't break anything, because these are just plastic clips. Alright, if you look at it, the panel's been opened up, and you just hang it there. You don't need to pull the whole thing apart. Okay, so there is 2 hex heads here, one there, one here, and once you take that off, you have to put your trim tool in between that fiber, that part, and you just pry it out, and there should be a clip there and there. Make sure you don't break it, because once you break it, there's no way you can put it apart, or put it back together, sorry. This switch, if you think that you can actually put the like the trim tool between here and pull it out, don't even try that, because you're gonna break. There is 2 clips on it, you're gonna break it, and of course you have to buy a new switch if you do that. So I'll show you those clips once I pull it. I'll take it out, but if you put your pry bar in between there, you should be fine. And if you want, you can actually take this side panel off too, which is pretty straightforward. You just put that trim tool in between, but I'm gonna give it a try without taking that off and see whether we can actually do it. If I can't, then I'll take this side panel off. So this is what I was trying to say. So I've taken off the two hex heads, and see these three clips here. So if you're not careful, you're gonna break that. Once you break it, yes, of course, I believe you can buy new clips, but that's all unwanted trouble. So what I was trying to say before is, if you try to pull this only the light assembly on its own, you won't be able to do it. The reason why is these, see these clips here, is 1, 2 and 2 at the bottom. So basically when you try to do that, try it out, you'll actually break those clips and it'll damage the light switch. So what I'm going to do is I'll pull this light, take the connections off and pull the light switch out. So I've taken the light switch off, and you can hear that it's just making too much noise. So I'll just see whether I can stop this thing, but I believe I've seen a couple of videos where when actually people take this off, this thing starts alarming, just beeping, and it shouldn't be a big deal, but it's a nuisance. So see what happens. Let me pull this switch apart. The good thing is, as soon as I shut the door, close the door, that noise stopped, the beeping stopped, so that's great, that's good. Yeah, sorry, my workbench is a bit there's too many stuff around here because I was trying to put a new set of speakers on my car, and yeah, I haven't completed it. It's just things everywhere, and I wanted to put this sub in. Still, everything is an ongoing process. I've got everything sitting here, but don't have enough time to do all that stuff, so we'll do it. But this seems to be, this mode was a pretty easy one, so I thought I'll give it a try. So what you have to do is you have to take this back piece off. For that you have to there's a clip there, there's a clip here on this side, and same on these two sides, and there is one on, so it's about say 2, 4 and 6 clips. That should get the switch pulled apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so I've pulled it apart, but in doing that I've actually brought one clip here, so you have to be very careful, very gentle, otherwise it's just gonna break. So the first one I broke, I was a bit rushing through it and I broke one clip. Then I thought, nah, take my time, and I did it, so be patient. So you can actually see there is a stop, something like that, but I'm not sure. I probably need to pull apart the front face of this thing. So what I've done is I've pulled apart the whole thing at the front face, and it looks like, see that white thing there, that's the stopper. So I'm just gonna see where the removing that can actually fix this issue. So that white plastic bit, so what I said previously, that white plastic, that's not probably the stop. The stop is these things here. So I'm just gonna get rid of this thing because I've already thought about actually buying a new light assembly. So I'm just gonna play around with this stop, these physical stops here, this thing and that thing, and I'm just gonna cut it off, trim it off, and see what it actually does. So what I've done is, if you look at it, I've just taken off the that physical stops. I just give it a quick try just by looking at where the switch positions are, and it all looks good. I'm going to put it back together and see how that actually works. So I've just put the switch back together, and if you look at that, That's off position. I think Parker, head beams, and automatic. See, the switch never used to go to that section, so as soon as I took off the stops, it just went to all the way to the automatic position. So I'll put the switch back together, and if you see, so that's the off, Parker, low beam, automatic. So now the switch has got one more position here, which is automatic. So basically removing that stop, what it's done, it's allowing the switch to go for the next step, which is the automatic. Yeah, so the switch is back together. Everything just push fits, just push it together, and it's in automatic now, and see what happens. So the original part number for this switch is this one here, and I'll show you the new part number, means the actual switch with an automatic position. It's a different part number. I'll show that later on. Okay, so I've put the light switch back and all the trims back, everything's back in its position, and you turn this thing, it's Parker, low beam, and say high beam. Yes, high beam is up, beam off, and the magic position. Alright, go, there's a magic position there now, and all the lights are on, and you can see the lights are on, and there you go, the lights are on. I'm gonna put my torch on the light sensor. Lights off, no lights. Take my torch off, lights back on, off, and on. So that was a really easy mode, and as I said before, if you are happy to spend that 80 bucks or 100 bucks, you can buy a new switch and put it in there. Or if you don't want to really spend that sort of money, just 100 bucks, you can do what I've just done. And yep, and if I did a bit of modification in full scan, and I've got all these options in my control panel here. Usually some of these ones are not there, so especially the lighting one, it's not there. You can set the auto lamp delay. I've just put it as 20 seconds. I'll just change to 20, and then you can change the DRL. Yeah, that's all. And yeah, so happy to see that it's actually worked. Thanks to Rob, because he's the one actually posted about this in the Ford MK5 UK group, and that's the only reason I tried to do it, and it worked. Thanks everyone.